Hello and welcome once again to the spare room, to today's impromptu video, which I'm going to improvise completely, so it could be an absolute fucking car crash. But before I get into it, recently I've had a few comments from people saying that the lighting isn't very good in here and the audio quality is rather poor. And I take that on board, but this is a very, very low value YouTube channel. I watch YouTubers who have purpose-built studios that cost thousands of pounds or dollars. My mobile phone is a factory second, or cell phone if you're watching in the New World. To my friends down in the penal colony, what do you call them? Is it a mobile phone, a cell phone, or something completely different? So, in today's video, we'll meet a number of women. Or rather, we'll meet 3 women who are women, a man who thinks he's a woman, as well as several other things, a woman who doesn't admit that she's a woman, but we don't know her pathetic made-up pronouns, and finally, a man dressed as a very famous woman, which is the thing of nightmares. So let's begin with a woman explaining how she spends her child support.
I get my nails done with my child support check, and this week it was only $23.96. Should I call my baby daddy and ask him where's the rest?
Now, I'm not a parent, nor am I an expert on parenting, but I think child support, well, the clue's in the name. And she's admitting to everyone on the internet that she spends her child support getting her nails done. I'm not sure what's more amazing there, that she has the brass neck to put that out on the internet, or that her former partner is actually paying child support, or that she actually knows who the father of her child is. And I know I'm casting aspersions, but to me she comes across as a bit of a cum dustbin. The local shag, as it were. Let's meet another woman now, and it's one word that she uses which to me explains everything about her. And that word, as I'm sure you will have realised, is cutted. She's cutted her own hair. I'm surprised she's allowed near sharp objects. I would have thought her social workers would have kept her away from scissors. And again, why put that on the internet? Now, I don't know what phone she's using, but mine would have auto-corrected that to know that cutted is not the appropriate word. Is that even a word? So now let's meet another woman who has strong opinions on ladies' sanitary products being put into male toilets.
Cute, how adorable. A man thinking that he can decide where feminine hygiene products are. Well, let me ask you, Scooter, what harm does it do? Are the tampons going to jump out of the box and attack you? Is your son going to look at the tampons and then become gay or trans? Like, what exactly are you afraid of when it comes to the tampons? This kind of irrational fear is generally best handled by a professional. Perhaps you should seek help.
I think there is a serious point here. And I don't know where that lady has got the idea that any parent, particularly conservative parents, would think that putting a tampon dispenser into a boy's toilet would make their sons homosexual or transgender. Not that there's anything wrong with being gay or trans to a point. And this is the serious point. I don't think that any biological male should be allowed into a female-only space, whether or not they say they're a trans woman or not, because a DNA male in a female-only space presents a threat. Therefore, if you put feminine hygiene products into a male-only space, then confused young women who've been brainwashed into thinking that they're actually young boys, usually because they're autistic and have overly woke parents, before they've had their breasts hacked off to appease said woke parents, I imagine they'd want to use the male facilities to try and affirm their gender, as it were. But sadly, some males are wrong-uns. So a female in a male-only space is putting herself in incredible danger. Because sadly, there are some men out there who won't give a fuck what she identifies as and will do unspeakable things to her. That got dark. There is another point, a less serious point, and it's this. Males, myself included, We are fucking idiots. If you put a tampon dispenser into a boy's toilet, they will just fuck about with it. I guarantee teenage lads will be pulling all the tampons out of the machine, seeing how many it takes to block the toilet up, shoving them up each other's noses and other orifices. It's just there to be vandalised. There is no reason to have a tampon dispenser in a male-only toilet. It's 2024. Why am I having to say that out loud? So now we'll meet a man who thinks he's a woman as well as other things. Now, I featured this person before. He, or rather she, whatever it identifies as, also states that it wants to run to be the President of the United States of America. And, in my own opinion, given the two that are running, that orange chap who, I must admit, I do miss the days of the Trump presidency because as a Brit it was just hilarious, and Kamala Harris, who I'm confused by because I thought she was Indian but now apparently she's black. I don't think this person would be that bad. Make your own mind up.
I am a beautiful black woman that also sometimes identifies as a cat or a dog. So I hope you got a leash or a litter box for your guest for the ones that identifies as cat or dog.
I think we're all used now to men identifying as women. But for that man to identify as a black woman, to me that's more shocking than identifying as a cat or a dog. And I will advise anyone on this, if you have someone coming round to your house demanding a litter tray for them to piss or shit in, kick them out of your door. He is a very, very strange chap, and I'm sure he'll be back in the near future. So next up, let's see a woman who is, I don't know what her pronouns are, explaining that she should not be a barista because she's hugely overqualified. I've had to mute the clip for copyright, but just read the text. What strikes me is that she says she shouldn't have to be a barista because she has a degree in queer and gender studies. The second she signed up for that course, being a barista is the best she could ever hope for. Because I guarantee, outside of her classroom, no one on the face of the earth gives a flying fuck if someone has a degree in queer and gender studies. It has no practical use. The best she can hope for is to be a barista. But she's not just any barista, no. She's a barista with $100,000 of student debt. So next up is another clip of her explaining that being a barista is the hardest job in the world. This is a sweeping generalisation. So to anyone watching who is a barista, I apologise, I don't count you in said generalisation. What is it though about being a barista? Why does that profession tempt so many twats to earn a living in such a way? Because let's be blunt, it is not a skilled job. And I say that because when I go on holiday, every hotel I've stayed in has a machine that can do that job for me. If I want a cappuccino, I push a fucking button and it does it. There is no dark art, there is no wonder to making coffee, and her complaining that she has to make coffee when she doesn't want to, as well as being misgendered. Oh, the horror. Yes, someone identifying that you are a female, even though your warped mind won't admit it to yourself, it must be torture. But seriously, the hardest job in the world? I'm sure the lads who work in bomb disposal are kicking themselves, thinking, my God, I thought my day was stressful, but I didn't have to prepare a flat white for some salesman. Or being a police officer. I guess that's probably a bit harder than making a mocha fuccuccino, particularly at the moment in the UK with the recent riots, because I feel for the old Bill. Attending riots and having to, work out in their heads who they're allowed to hit. Mostly it appears to be people who are this colour who have a job. And I say that because what are being labelled as far-right riots, they seem to go on evenings and weekends, as if those people are in gainful employment. I shall now get off my soapbox. Anyway, on to our final clip, and if you are a heterosexual man of a certain age, this sort of age, let's be blunt, there's no shame in it, all of us have cranked one out to Carrie Fisher as Princess Leia. It's sort of a rite of passage. However, this next clip is going to ruin that memory forever.
You're my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Yes, the magic of the original Star Wars trilogy has been destroyed forever now. Because, if I'm being blunt, at no point have I ever thought that Princess Leia should be played by a fat transvestite. That's the end of this rambling and rather pointless video. If you enjoyed it, God knows why you would have done, but please do like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as ever, thanks for watching. Once again to the spare room. And before I get into today's video, I'm going to fuck it up. So there is a serious point to this. Why would you need to have a tampon dispenser or something giving out any feminine hygiene products in a male toilet? Because we don't have the requisite parts to use those products. I mean, it's not fucking difficult, is it? Oh, that's recording. I've moved the camera. That's fucked the continuity. Fire brigade are joining in. I'm going to paint with quite a broad brush here. What is it about being a barista that means you have to be such a colossal twat? Because it's not a skill. I'm going to fuck that up.